So today we're going to talk about developing resources for flexible learning, and we are going to look at design and pedagogy. So we'll look at our mission theory and we'll give you some examples, and this is the presentation is the team effort, as I said. So what's TESOL at Bond? TESOL stands for Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages, and we have two programs which essentially train teachers of English as a second language. And one is the graduate certificate and the other one is Master of Arts in TESOL. Both of these programs are offered on campus in their blended format and also fully online. Here's Mission Impossible. In September 2012, we were given a task to create Master of Arts in TESOL, offer it online in one semester. So we did have the Master of Arts in TESOL before, but we were told that it's going to be offered online in the following semester. So what would you do if the program in which you're teaching at the moment, you'd be told, hey, you have to offer it in January 2016. So that's something interesting to think of. So look, we did have a lot to start with, a good starting point, subject matter expertise, pedagogy. We are all trained in education. So when I say we actually are missing one person in our team. We had to consider technology and also design, how to put it all together while maintaining the Bond experience culture or Bond teaching excellence that Keitha mentioned yesterday. So I just would like to show you this very complicated slide, but I don't really want you to read everything that's on the slide, but just up in the corner, as you can see, it's actually a progression of thought and learning of all the main ideas of the 20th century, all the big names in education. But what I'd like you to remember from this slide is that, in fact, they all go in the same direction, from lower order thinking skills to higher order thinking skills, from sort of passive learning to active learning, from teacher-centeredness to learner-centeredness. So accordingly, if we are creating activities to address this progression of thought and learning, we need to address also multimodality of content representation. So starting from audiovisual, verbal, interacting, to multisensory representation of the content, creating real-world products, virtual simulations. So it all goes on that, alongside that continuum. Another bit of theory that we use, another theoretical framework we use, is universal design for learning. So it's essentially three questions that really matter in designing of the flexible learning materials, and that's the what of teaching, the why of teaching, so how to engage, motivate different learners, and also how to address learner diversity. So how to differentiate the ways that students can express what they actually know. So it's not just the presentation of the knowledge, but also allowing the students to express their own knowledge in different ways. The old favorite in the instructional design, the ADDIE model, what I'd like you to think of on this slide with this model is that it's iterative nature. Whatever we do in the way we design our learning resources, whatever we do, it gets fed back into the system. So it's a very cyclical, very organic sort of process that we engage in. We also try to make things visual, because more and more research shows us that indeed we are all visual learners, and that it's an incredibly powerful teaching and learning technique. So this is us, and this presentation is about our journey. This is really what we were like in September 3 years ago. And so what do we actually do? It's an ongoing process that we engage in. It's collaborative, iterative teamwork, and you can see the team here. And what we do is we actually work on the development of the learning resources by looking at how subject matter, the content, works with pedagogy, so just to keep things coherent and cohesive, and design, so we look at instructional design and what we can do with technology available to us. So we are developing, it's an ongoing, it's work in progress, okay? So we're developing a range of tools, and we'd like to show you a couple of them very briefly today. So we started off with Camtasia recordings, and they have undergone a sort of significant evolution. So this is the first look with a talking head. The second look, heavily text-based, and the third look, what you're actually looking at, is the bookend that starts all our recordings for subject modules. So it's a very different look. very different things that we do now. We work a lot with PowerPoint. Chris from OLT has helped us design all the subject templates, and so they are all different for different subjects. This is a couple of old examples of what we used to do, and there's a couple of new examples of what we do now. And I think that the most important thing about this process is when we started, we were given the templates, but actually since then, we have all developed our own learning, sort of a little bit like your own teaching style. So our own way in which we represent content, it's very individual. We can spend hours arguing over things, and also it's something that you take on your own path. So we are all, actually, we've all developed in that sense. Our iLearn sites have also undergone massive evolution, not just in the design, not just in the representation of the graphics and the visuals, but also things like navigation. We spend a lot of time sort of considering things like that. We use videos not just for lectures, we use videos for things like modeling teaching, thank you Deb, and explanation of tasks. So this is what the students are doing while they are observing models of brilliant teaching. We're introducing the interactivity and gamification layer in our programs. So for different reasons, we use Quizlet, Socrative, and iLearn test tool for that. Probably the tool that we are most excited about is Blackboard Collaborate and our virtual classroom. And actually one of the reasons why we are so excited about using it, and we're using the new version, the Ultra, is because the more we use it, the more we realize that in fact, while that thing in the middle is what most you can do in both environments, but actually there are so many natural features of the learning, of the online environment that are sort of natural features for active learning. So it's really, really a fantastic tool. So coming back to the model of progression of thought and learning that I showed you earlier on, the resources that we develop actually can be placed alongside that continuum. So they start from the left and go to the right, but they actually fit in at every stage. So far, this was our mission accomplished. So this is what we've done so far. And so we've been creating learning and teaching resources for learner diversity that maximize both student engagement and diverse learning styles as well. So look, just a couple of things, do's and don'ts for designing resources for flexible learning. Please do remember that it's a process. In other words, the more you do it, the better you get at it, and the more the quality improves as well, and the fun increases as well. So please remember that the practice is good. If you need, well, ask for help, ask to share, because we're very happy to share everything that we've got. And just the last thing that I'd like to say is don't forget that you don't have to do this on your own. And remember that, in fact, there are lots of people here and in this room as well who have helped us over the last couple of years. And really, it's just the Oscars moment. Without them, what we've done would not have been possible. So thank you very much for listening. And have a wonderful teaching and learning week. Thanks.